Hey everybody, it's me, Casey. So I wanted to hop on here and talk about what is epilepsy. I have epilepsy. I've had it since I was 6 years old, and I am now 28. So I've had it for about 24 years. No, let me do the math. I'm terrible at math. I should know this. Let's see, 22 years. There you go. Duh. See, that's another thing about it. Okay, so what is epilepsy, right? So it is a chronic brain disorder characterized by recurrent unprovoked seizures. Seizures are brief episodes of abnormal electrical activity in the brain that can cause a variety of symptoms, which that includes involuntary movements, loss of consciousness, confusion, staring spells, and something called an aura, which basically is a warning sensation of you about to have a seizure. And it can affect people of all ages, race, backgrounds. The causes of epilepsy can vary, but they may include like a brain injury or genetic factors or an imbalance of the brain chemicals. So there are many types of different seizures. So there is the generalized seizures, the main ones, which is an absence seizure, which another thing they call it petit mal, which is a brief loss of consciousness or awareness. And it's often with staring spells or sudden movement. And then you also have the myoclonic ones, which are sudden and voluntary jerks of twitches of the body. And then you have your clonic ones, which is jerking movements of the body. And then you have the tonic-clonic, which is the two of them, like two is the tonic and the clonic ones mixed. It's a loss of consciousness followed by stiffening of the body and jerking. So with me, I have the petit mal, and then I also have the tonic-clonic. I used to have the grand mal ones, which the grand mal is of the whole body, like shaking, stiffening, eyes roll on the back of the head. Sometimes you can foam at the mouth with a seizure, but not quite often does that happen, of the foaming of the mouth. If you were to see somebody having a seizure, the best thing you could do is stay by them. If they're like standing up, if it's possible, try and get them down to the ground and roll them to their side. That would be the best thing, and just to stay with them. You do not call an ambulance unless they start turning purple or blue in the face. Some people also say, don't stick anything in the mouth. Well, no, duh. They're having a seizure. But another one is the focal seizures, which I used to have those ones, but I don't anymore. And that affects one part of the brain. And it may cause sensory or motor symptoms, tingling, numbness, or jerking movements on one side of the body. I used to have that when I was in high school because I was taking a certain medication called Depakote. And my whole left side was just nonstop jerking everywhere, and I could not speak right. My whole speech was slurring. I had no control of anything. And sometimes when a person has a seizure, they can have a loss of bladder, a control loss of their bladder, and they could pee themselves. That's common if you have them a lot. I think my last seizure was probably a month ago, but I'm on two different types of seizure medications, which is called levetiracetam, which is another form of Keppra, but I'm on the extended release form of that. And then I am on this new medication they just came out with not too long ago called Xcopri. And that's been helping too. I used to be on Topamax and Trilaptol. Those are good ones too. I recently was taken off Trilaptol because it was causing me to have a lot of weight loss. Like I was 140 some pounds, and then I was dropped like 30, 40 pounds, like all just like that, which is not good. What I was saying, sorry, I got roped into a story. Simple focal seizures. They affect only one part of the brain. I already said that. Okay, so another one is the complex seizures. These ones cause loss of awareness or altered consciousness, along with other symptoms, confusion, staring, or automatic behaviors, which is true. I used to have the focal ones because the seizures somehow are in a certain part of your brain, and it is true that that bits and pieces of that can move around in your head. Because mine used to start in the front. That's where the focal seizures were. But then it moved to the side, and that's when I started having the tonic-clonic. And now it is now in the back of my head. So it moves around. Like the focal seizures with secondary generalizations, they start as focal seizures, but then spread to the entire brain, just like I was saying, causing generalized seizures. Other types of seizures are the febrile seizures that occur in children with high fever. So if you see something like that in your child, like shaking or, I mean, it's kind of different with children, like younger kids when they have seizures. It's not full on body shaking and everything. It's just more of a slight movement more with them, and then they start crying. So you'd have to keep an eye on that if you think that your child is having them. And then partial seizures with impaired awareness. Focal seizures that cause a loss of awareness of altered consciousness. And then they also have these ones called non-epileptic seizures. Seizures are caused by factors other than epilepsy, such as low blood sugar or electrolyte imbalances, where you're not getting enough water. Go play your game. It's important to note that the specific symptoms and characterizations of seizures can vary widely depending on the type and underlying cause. Would you go? Let's see. It's essential to seek medical attention for proper diagnosis and treatment. If you think you have seizures, I would definitely go get checked by a neurologist. Neurologists are who you go to see about seizures. Now, I've had them almost my whole life, so I know what seizures are. I can tell them. Like my husband, a couple weeks ago, I should say back in July, he started having seizures, and it was horrible. Like he was driving home one day. Go. He was driving home one day, and he noticed something was off. He called me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not feeling too good. Will you stay on the phone till I get home?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So he got home, and his mom was here, and she went out there to check on him. And she came running back inside saying, "Hey, he's unconscious on the ground, shaking immensely." I ran out there. I know exactly he was having a seizure. There was like 3 or 4 people gathered around him, and that is something you do not want to do with someone who is having a seizure. You do not want to hover over them, because when they finally come to, they will feel so confused. It is not good for them to do that. Oh no. But we had to call the EMTs. The ambulance came and they took him to the hospital. You're goofy.
Because I do not want that to be gone, like laying on the floor forever.
Yeah, Daddy's not. But we got him the medical attention. We're still trying to figure out what causes his seizures. I think there's tons of things that can cause the seizures. Like, I think his is stress related. So when he's very, very stressed, he will probably end up having one. Me, on the other hand, Mine are also caused by stress, extreme heat, extreme coldness, extreme caffeine. So I can't drink coffee. And another weird thing is I cannot eat cooked pepperonis and drink dark soda. The acid of the pepperoni does not mix well and it makes me have a seizure. That's what I know causes mine. And also extreme sleep. Like, no sleep. I will end up having one if I don't have enough sleep. But if you guys have any questions on epilepsy or anything, I will definitely help. Just leave a comment down below and I will try to help you as much as I can. Because I've dealt with them forever. 22 years. 22 years I've dealt with epilepsy. Not a good thing to do. I've been on so many medications and everything.
I'm done with this game.
Okay.
And guess what?
Hold on. So if you have any questions about epilepsy or anything, just leave me a comment, anything, and I will try to help you as best as I can.